if your sun sign or rising sign is Capricorn, then this new moon in Virgo is going to light up your 9th house of far-flung places, so international travel, also philosophy and spirituality. That could be a theme this year, and broadcasting. This new moon energy also sends supportive beams to your 1st house of yourself, and how you show yourself in the world. And you've had Pluto there, so you've undergone quite a transformation over these last 8 or 10 years, and that's coming to an end. You might have been really under the blowtorch for a long time with things falling apart for you, and that's due to Pluto, which is a really transformational phoenix type energy. And when that comes to the end of its cycle in your sign, you will feel like a completely different person from how you were 8 or 10 years ago, because you've been through the trials and tribulations and the tower moments, and that's all coming to an end around December. So this new moon is the start of the end of that, because the moon speaks directly to Pluto in your 1st house of self. Now this new moon is also beaming out to your 5th house of romance and children and creative activities. So between these areas, you are getting a lot of fresh energy that's all playing synergistically with each other. So let's take a look at some cards to see what wants to come out to tell you about this energy for you, this new moon in Virgo for you, Capricorn. Time to face your fear. So it's a fresh start, and in the 9th house over here, fresh start in your philosophy. So in your self-philosophy, if you need to turn to spirituality or other modes of healing, that would be really good for you right now. I want to take this card here for your next card. Trust. That's beautiful. So it is time to have faith. That's a very 9th house thing, spirituality. Face your fear and trust that everything's going to be all right, because there are brighter days ahead. Let us see one more card from this deck. This is the one I want. Tame and attain. So we all know about horses and how when they're wild, they're very instinctive, and they dash about all over the place, which is great if you are a wild horse. But if you are trying to make it in the suburban world, you actually have to master your own internal energies to be able to make progress in the world. Now, this is really unusual for Capricorn, because usually this is really what you're all about. You shouldn't have any trouble in this area, but maybe there are parts of you that have just run a bit wild, and you're being asked now to really go within and tame your impulses, so you can use the reins of the horse here, to the bit and the reins, to steer yourself where you need to go. So that's about facing your fears and having more faith, that if you do master your energies, you will get where you need to go. All right, so let's pull a card just to finish up from this deck here. Let's pull this one. Balance. I love how these cards all talk to each other. Balance, stability, standing firm. I mean, Capricorn is one of the most stable signs. It's an earth sign. It is the granddaddy of the earth signs. So it's the headmaster. Honestly, you should have no trouble. This is surprising to me that this is what you're being called to do. So something has gone awry in your life, and balance and taming yourself and letting go of your fears. I mean, excuse me. Fear is definitely a Capricorn thing. It is what drives you. And that's what makes you a workaholic, gives you workaholic tendencies. So it is time to trust the universe a bit more, lighten up, and don't let your fears drive you wild. Tame your fears. Okay, that's what that's about. Sorry, I figured it out now. Tame your fears and come into balance. And then you'll find this most beautiful new beginning that happens in your 9th house, Also involving, that's the international travel and philosophy. Also involving, remember, your first house of yourself and your persona, and your fifth house of romance, children, and creativity. So good things are ahead, Capricorn, as long as you can release those fears.